welcome to another episode of Irembo Tech Talk, episode 14. Today we'll be looking at a very interesting topic, cybersecurity. And with me today, I'm with a security expert, Mr. Bright, and he'll be taking us through the different measures we can take to just be secure at the workplace or even anywhere you are. Please make sure you take this as something you can work with at home or at work. It's a very interesting topic, and the topic is all about beyond firewalls. Beyond firewalls itself, and also introducing the culture and how you can use that culture at your workplace. Now, the first time I saw the topic, it said beyond firewalls, right? And I was thinking maybe this is going to be a talk about next generation technologies and something very complex or something you had discovered, right? But then I looked at the second part of it, and it said it's all about building a culture. Yeah. So I was wondering, okay, this is actually a very good topic, right? Because you can have all sorts of technologies, right? And all sorts of expensive equipment, maybe. But then if your people do not have the right tools, mindset as well,
the
and
tools
how
would be used.
Yeah,
Not
that would be a bit hectic for you, right? So this is a very interesting topic, and I believe you're going to give us more details about this. So, what do you understand by that topic itself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. So, it's an interesting topic, as you said, for sure. When you look at the current trends, the technology has grown. New things are happening; they're coming in place, and as this technology keeps evolving, so comes cybersecurity concerns. If you look from the previous years, I think people didn't take much how people, the humans, can play a part in cybersecurity. And that has been seen from a couple of recent years when things around phishing, social engineering attacks have begun to, lead or even bring about data breaches in most organizations. So it's something that is growing. And if I may just give you some numbers, last year, 2024, 95% of most cybersecurity incidents were brought about by human error.
Human error, can you imagine?
So you can imagine when just people talk about the technologies put in place, the firewalls you talked, because people know when there's a firewall, then most attacks are going to be blocked at that level. And now inside we are safe. And today, most attackers don't pay attention to, like, firewalls now, it's something that they don't focus on much of the time. What they focus on today is people. People these days are very distracted with whatever is happening on internet, social media, everything. So it's very easy to catch them when they're off. And as you were just saying, it's an interesting topic because, one, as I gave you the numbers, most of attacks today or data breaches, they are brought about by, tricking people into falling victims and thereby leading their organizations into massive problems. Yeah.
I've seen such issues happen a lot. You see, I don't know if you've experienced this, but if you're part of these WhatsApp groups, maybe with family members and friends, there's always some random person who says, like,
yo, let me tell you, you can't
like,
imagine that today you still have someone who's going to send you, or within a group, that, oh my God, this thing works. Click here, you're going to earn this amount. Who still does that in this age?
Yeah, a very common one is happy birthday. Like, then you.
It's so many things of that kind that people should take note about these days, because it's such things that attackers these days are taking advantage of to spread malware or even trick people into revealing sensitive data or critical information. For instance, if it's in a workplace, and you happen to click on that link where someone tells you if you click here you're going to earn or win or I don't know, it might just by mere click download the malware on the devices you're using.
Indeed.
Much worse if it is a work device.
Yeah.
If it's on your phone, I'm not saying you clicking it on your phone is also safe, because at the end of the day we are here to teach people how to be safe, be it not just at the office, but also at their workplaces and in their normal life.
Indeed. You've mentioned the term there, malware. What exactly is that? You know.
So these are, for instance, for people who know about things to do with, I think you've heard about antiviruses. So what they do is a malware could be like some software or a program that if it happens to install on your device, it can do something worse in the background.
Yeah.
One, it might, for instance, it can be created to encrypt all the data on your device.
Yeah.
Or it can be made to create a backdoor.
Yeah.
A backdoor is something like if some software runs in the background when you don't know, it can create like some connection with the remote attacker, like the bad actor, for instance, who has injected it on your device. So they can get a door through which they can now access your device when you actually don't know.
Yeah, so I see the connection there. So the bad thing that will happen to you is that the malware will get easily deployed
Exactly.
wherever you are, or on your phone,
Wherever
or
you are, yeah.
Just from a mere click of a link, let's say. And things like that.
There's something I've already seen recent days, still a malware, and this happens on for people who access mostly like the internet on browsers, stuff like that. So today people, they browse internet. They don't pay attention to the clicks, to the URLs they're going to open. If someone wants maybe to learn about something, they'll just type in the name, whatever results are brought, they'll just click.
Yeah.
But some of those URLs that are being given are not even legitimate. I think people need to learn how to know what authoritative links or websites are for the kind of information they're looking up for.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if you just click, you might go to a wrong one. An example. So now this still malware, the way it works. I'll give an example. Maybe in our situation here at work, we already see because we have good enough. We have like good tool. Okay, I don't want to say like tools in place, but at least we're able to monitor what happens behind the firewall, like what activities are people doing, okay? Be it not just our staff or whoever, be it not just our staff, but also the users that access our platforms. So anytime, maybe because people access our platforms on their own devices, okay? And what happens is when they are using their devices, because they don't get this kind of security awareness on their laptops, they do download maybe like apps to play games. They do watch movies online on any website that's there, as long as it is free. And most of them are infested with malware, or most of which is just still a malware that, in fact, before you even allowed to watch a movie, you have to first create an account. And in the process of creating an account or even accessing that URL itself, you click on it and maybe the malware is installed on your laptop. And now these are the people who have everything stored in plain text on their devices. So that malware can now create that backdoor, as I said. Someone is able to have access to your device, all documents you have on your device.
Yeah.
Okay? So we've seen instances where now maybe the end users who log into our platform, they happen to log in, and before you know, we see that maybe someone, like an account on your platform, has got maybe like some credentials being exposed somewhere in the dark web. And so each time we see those happening, we have to ensure that we at least put measures in place by maybe resetting the accounts and just ensuring the accounts are not exposed. And the fact that we do that for our users on the platform, you can imagine inside here, we play a critical role. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with how they create, store, and manage their credentials to such accounts in place.
Indeed. You spoke a lot about the malwares and the firewalls. So you have all these tools, and you might think that everything is safe, but in actual sense, maybe you are not really that safe. You need that extra layer of your perception that this maybe is something wrong. Let me not do this.
Yeah.
Let me practice good cyber hygiene.
Yeah.
So from your experience, can you let us know maybe how best should someone approach this if you're trying to, let's say, get rid of these issues, right? How should we train someone, or how should we approach it? What's the best thing that you can do to make someone aware that these issues are actually dangerous and they can cause a bit of havoc?
Yeah. So one thing we are doing currently in our case for our staff, it's raising awareness of how those small mistakes can lead to something that can bring about repercussions, not just to them but also to the organizations they work for. Okay, the simple mistakes, someone clicking on a link, as I was saying, before thinking twice, someone opening an attachment from an email that came from nowhere, they didn't know. You just see an email, before you even know where it came from, you're already clicking and opening. Someone installing applications. There's something we call shadow IT. It's not approved. Those are applications that you have not been approved by IT, but for you are installing them. Because now it's those that have malware when trying to install. It's those small mistakes that you show them the impact of what they can cause, to the organization if they happen to, if they keep doing them. Okay, so we just give them scenarios where people who did so have faced, big issues. I would give an example of some telecom company in the US. So the incident I remember there is one user was tricked into clicking on phishing email. So it was phishing email that was happening within. It was like a campaign towards their company. So one person happened to click on that link. Guess what happened? It installed malware, as we're talking about. So the other guy, one, he happened to get now like the back door, created a backdoor on that user's device. But then two, they also created something like it was leading to some website where you have to enter credentials. The person ended up creating, ended up giving away their corporate credentials. So the bad actor was able not to have access to company systems. Before you know, all customer data was exposed. Okay? And guess what? Now the company had to pay fines because of regulatory compliance. Millions of dollars. Okay? Because of someone just clicking. So this is now where we come back to the topic that most of things happening, it's not a tech issue, it's just a culture issue. So if people maybe had culture of being vigilant on, links they click on, then that one individual or that one act would not have led the company into paying all those fines.
I see. So sometimes you really need to put in the effort, right, to teach your...
If someone can know the effects of their small mistake, then they should be able not to play with that.
So there are platforms out there which someone can use to maybe, let's say, automate that process, right? So you can send emails which are maybe may appear suspicious, and then after you send them over, if the staff clicks on that
Yeah.
email, maybe they get redirected to some sort of training program, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really important. But you mentioned culture. I still believe that the culture needs to start from the top, right?
Yeah.
From the top of the organization,
Yeah.
because you might have all these necessary tools, or you
Yeah.
even have your own production team that can make these nice slides or about security, and you present. But still, if your colleagues are not up to speed with what you're doing, they'll just see that you're wasting your time.
Yeah. That's
So
true.
I also think one thing we need to focus on is that the leadership. Your leadership needs to be very, very, very vigilant when it comes to this security thing. One big issue I've seen is that usually security is looked at as a point of spending more money. And if you bring that, maybe if you have a CFO and you bring this certain
You're buying a
tool,
tool.
you're spending more
That's
money,
true,
right?
that's true, that's
why
true.
is it taking there?
Yeah.
So you need to come up with ways of convincing the leadership. But
Yeah.
also the leadership needs to be put in a way that they understand the importance of these of security, of having cybersecurity in an organization. And I think this applies to medium-sized companies, small companies,
Every
kind of company, right? So you can
So,
just say,
I'll just to say something around that. You see, most companies, if I would say, when we talk about cybersecurity, it's standards, or it's maybe frameworks that we follow. I'll just mention in our context, maybe we follow the NIST framework, where we have identify, knowing the assets that you have, where everything that you're supposed to protect. You have protect as well. That's another function of that NIST framework, where you now have to set measures, how you're going to protect the assets that you've identified. Then you have detect. Do you have a measure on how you can now identify when there is a suspicious activity happening? And also you have respond and then recover, which are much more about if an incident has happened, how do you respond to it? And then recover if it has happened, how do you now come back to normalcy? Something they've added now is another function called govern. Govern now looks at leadership, it looks at resources, and also anything around leadership resources that can be added into the mix of all this so that they can support cybersecurity in general. So leadership team play a big role. And thankfully, in our organization, I've seen this drive right from the board to senior managers, and then everyone else has to follow. When we talk about the practices, we are mentioning about simple mistakes that people do, but which would actually be impactful to the organization. So there's that thing of identifying those practices, and now you're putting up measures to ensure maybe they don't happen again, or you even reduce on the probability for such happening. Maybe putting up ways how to report if in case they receive suspicious emails, or in case they identify anything suspicious that they think it might be, or it might lead to something maybe security related. Okay.
Yeah.
Our leadership team, they are the first in responding to things that we put in place.
Yes.
They provide, we have one of our values here, leading by example. I think they are doing it at the best when it comes to that.
Wow.
They are the ones to report emails if they are there and maybe they are suspicious. They always be the one to complete if there's maybe a mandatory training to take for awareness purposes. And the way they do it is how now they go back and drive every other team member. And at the end of the day, you find everyone is on board. Two, if you're to come about with a cybersecurity policy, or anything that is going to bring about an enforcement that is going to lead people do things in the right way or right direction. We've seen their first response towards approving such policies and that, which makes sense now, because you can have all those good systems as you said before, but if there's no backup of leadership team, then
I liked how you've put down that point. You mentioned something about the board. So
Mhm.
that makes even, let's say, the CEO of your company
very much so.
accountable.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's a good approach, I believe. And I'm quite impressed at how you put down the NIST framework. I've tried to capture that in my head, and
Mhm.
I just can't keep up with it. But it's a really good framework to
Yeah.
follow if you have a team in place, and it can help you, let's
Yeah.
say, organize yourself and work accordingly. Um,
Yeah. Actually, so for the NIST framework, as I said, it's just a guidelines of what we're supposed to be doing, right from identifying up to recovering in case of a major incident. But at this moment, at this point in time where now this cybersecurity is now becoming worse, the way data breaches are coming up these days, I think now our much effort is around being predictive, depending on what we've implemented. Okay, where is the gap? What can happen if we, from what we have implemented, where can the gap be, and what can we implement to ensure that maybe we don't even fall for any data breach. Yeah.
You mentioned something about things getting worse, right? And I like to bring this up. AI,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, is
Yeah.
the talk of the town right now, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing tools being developed at such a fast pace,
Yeah.
and I believe even attackers are using these tools, right?
Very much so.
Yeah, and I can imagine. I remember one of your trainings. It mentions look for emails that, let's say, have alphabetical issues
Misspellings.
or misspellings, right?
Or
Grammatical errors.
errors. Yeah.
Things like that. But right now, someone can just come up with an email from, let's say, ChatGPT or
A Chinese
any of
can
those.
create a very good
Email, right?
email. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
In English,
That is virtually impossible to not look at. I remember we once also tried to create a tool, AI-based tool for awareness.
Yeah.
But we also saw that AI sometimes doesn't give you all the full information sometimes, or it gives you error information.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, like, what other measures can someone come up with, or how dangerous probably is using AI in this kind of setting, let's say at the workplace? And
Yeah, I think AI can, in as much as AI is very good.
Yeah.
For instance, for us here, we have there's been a push for people to learn how to use AI, but not just learn in a right way, so that they are productive in their work. Okay, that's something very good. But now, that itself is not enough when you don't follow up because of how bad it can be when you're using AI. Here we can talk about someone, for instance, let's take an example of someone who is a dev. They reach a point where they have got this assistant. You just take the entire code and you paste it there, you ask to decode, to debug. Okay?
Yeah.
All that thing is going to be maybe exposed. I don't know. You know everything, because it doesn't, when you paste it, of course it doesn't save on your laptop.
Yeah.
It saves on databases of whichever tool you're using for AI, okay?
Yeah.
And now, at the end of the day, maybe this same data that is being saved is what they use again for relearning. Like, for those guys, if they want to improve their AI tools, they use the data that people give them, for enhanced capabilities of their tools. But that's one. Now, I haven't reached a point where we are now going to see the code that you've pasted. Okay, let me just say, suppose now, because you don't know where it's going to be saved, suppose it gets leaked somewhere. okay, then you're probably putting out whatever we use internally. You're trying to, you've already given it. If it lands in the hands of a bad actor, then it can be used against us. We have people from other departments. Say if it was finance, it's a very big sheet that they need to, write maybe formulas so that they could come up with maybe some report they need to provide to their managers if in case it's the manager that wants maybe. So someone is going to upload everything. So because AI can give you like quick answers in an instant.
Yeah.
You've exposed all that financial data. If it was someone who's a system engineer, maybe you want to improve your architecture diagram. You're telling AI, this is what I have, how can it be improved? And now the bad thing now would be if that network architecture you've actually uploaded has got IP addresses on it, has got like everything. Let's talk someone who is in business and partnership team. You have a contractor or something and then you need to compile a report. You upload everything so that you can have a feedback that fits the reply you want to give. So at the end of the day, everything that we upload, okay, can have repercussions on us if they get exposed. Two, another thing I've seen also is people, if they are solving maybe an issue. So I would give an example of someone, maybe like the team that supports our users or users on the platform. That's the CX. Someone wants maybe to write like a very good reply. They copy everything. Just to give context to AI they are working with. It has got the national ID, the names, phone numbers, everything. And we're like, how can I respond or how make this, report for me? All that data is being exposed. Okay, so one thing about this AI, in as much as we want people to be productive with their work, is they now have to be vigilant with how they give it. Because most of these AI tools, you need data input. So the way they give it inputs, they should always try to limit the kind of sensitive or confidential information that they upload on them. So that's one issue that I've seen mostly happening with using this AI these days.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Most of the AI tools I've seen are very easily used, right? So they develop them in such a way that it's so easy for you to upload, let's say, a file to.
I'm telling you.
No questions asked. So it poses a massive privacy risk, right?
Let me tell you another behavior I've seen.
Yeah.
Today, people have become lazy. If it's the meeting, there's going to be an extension for AI that is going to write minutes. Yeah. If it's downloading, there's an extension, AI extension. Like, because we are able like to manage the way people use, because most of like the browser we use in-house, or for us, we try to manage it. So we're able to know when does it have vulnerabilities, and then we can apply the patches at large scale at once. So in that control of how people use our browsers, we've been able to see people installing different AI extensions that you can't imagine of. And then you ask someone, what does this do? This is going to help me like print a PDF. Like, it makes it easier for me to print a PDF. So what people actually should be, especially the security teams, they should know, as we were talking earlier, these small acts of someone installing just that mere extension that actually is able to like access information on their device, which that information now belongs to the organization, that should not be exposed. And now you're installing those extensions that are going to expose it. Okay. And in fact, when you look at most of those extensions, they are not even authoritative. They are not from authoritative sources. Like, people who come up with them. Because today everyone can come up with anything and put it online. Okay, so it's though AI can be good, but I think people should be very serious with how they use it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fine line because also I use AI in my day to day, and I can't imagine
I
working
to use
without
it.
it. Yeah, so it's virtually
Yeah,
impossible
yeah,
not to use it. But you
yeah,
just have to exercise
yeah,
vigilance
yeah.
whenever
Very much
you're
so.
working with it.
Very
Yeah,
much so.
yeah.
Uh, one thing maybe around AI again. Um, so we talked about data privacy, how it can expose. Um, I think there's also, I think this is what I've just touched on, shadow. I would call it shadow AI.
Oh, shadow AI.
You know, people today are using the kind of AI you never knew that even existed. Let's just not talk about the extensions I was talking about. The other day I was having lunch with a colleague, and he was telling me of I even don't remember because he told me like 20 of them that they use for different, because people in their day to day have different ways they approach their work, and they have a different AI tool they use for different aspect of their job.
Wow.
We have a lot of AI out here, AI tools, AI. So shadow AI is also like a big problem that people should pay much attention to, and if possible, educate their people, because now that's where they're going to even, that's where they're going to even reveal or even expose company data.
Yeah, so that's a
Very much so.
very thin line. We have to exercise a lot of vigilance when we're using AI.
Yeah,
I would like us to look at the different um, cybersecurity news that we've heard before and compare it to what we're talking about, the culture here, right?
mm-hmm.
One incident, I think it happened last week, probably last week. Um, it's it talked about 16 billion accounts which have been hacked, right? But I saw that, let's say, it was the night before, and I remember coming into the office and I saw a
Mm-hmm.
text from one of the staff, right? And they mentioned that, hey, security guys, be alert. There's something that's happening out there.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, Bright's actually doing a great job here. You know, guys are very alert. They are actually worried, and
mm-hmm.
they like the security that much that they can. It whenever they see something like that, uh, it raises their hairs and they're
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
to act on it, right? And that speaks a lot about the culture,
yeah,
and it has been uh, buried deep into what they're working on. And
yeah.
whenever someone's doing something and they just feel like, yes, I need to use, I need to exercise vigilance whenever I'm doing anything,
Yeah,
right? And do proper cyber hygiene whenever I'm online, right? I really liked that point, and I think it's a great way, like, to approach cybersecurity. The way we do the awareness trainings,
mm-hmm.
and the way we always remind people, do not click this, do not
Yeah,
do that.
yeah,
It really helps out your organization get
yeah.
an idea what's going on. Have you been looking at some news of late? Maybe you can share with the audience. And
Um, well, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening. Uh, even from what that colleague, which I actually want to thank again, because now that shows how much culture is developing. You know, culture is about you doing something, uh, like when no one is watching you.
Yeah.
It's like when the kind of cybersecurity culture we want to grow here is, you see, like when you're going to send Momo, before you hit that send button, there's that thing that you look at the number or the name you're going to send to,
Yeah.
like that reminder. So when people reach that point of even the daily work, especially now that talks much into the practice of password management, how people know if they see news around, like, can you imagine all those billion credentials that were leaked?
Yeah.
So the next time he's going to access any tool or platform, it talks much into how they manage their credentials, just uh, to avoid theirs being leaked, especially if it's a corporate credentials that they work for. We already have password management in place. We have password manager that everyone uses here. So, and I believe there's a time when we were introducing it, people used to call me One Password.
Wow,
Used to call, yeah, that was my nickname along the way, because now
it's a great name.
it was at a point where okay, the way we came about it, actually, because again, when you're doing there's previously when you asked me something around password managers, the culture, how we do like teach culture within people, like that constant communications I made about One Password and everything, how to create, how to manage, how to store, how to share. So it comes, the time it's happening, people don't see it, but they see the value later when they read news like that. Okay. Maybe one instance I'll talk about of a hack that happened recently, not many years back. There's something that happened at one of the companies at Uber. Allegedly, they said it was an 18-year-old guy that hacked that company. But the way it happened was, you see how this guy talked about, the one who shared the 16 billion credentials. So those were from different sources. Mostly what happened is people are going to go and maybe for a tool that most people have created accounts, if they happen to get a vulnerability on it and now they get access of all accounts of people that use that tool, okay? So they steal those credentials and come and sell it somewhere on the dark web. There's a dark web marketplace that people don't know about. A place where you're going to find people who buy and others are selling. Someone comes there and is like, okay, I have credentials or I have passwords that I've stolen from company X. Guys, how much do you pay me? Maybe $10. And then someone's there bargaining. Someone will say, maybe I'll give you 8. Someone will say, I'll give you 5. But if it was a reputable company, you imagine how that's going to be expensive. Again, the buyer, they buy because of the interest they have in that credentials. So what happens most is people go for these credentials that get leaked. There are people who buy them. And what do they use these passwords for? They buy them. They know the companies where these credentials have come from. And now they do spear phishing. They do phishing attempts. You are there, you're seeing an email coming from nowhere. But now, because you're not vigilant, maybe you act on it. This happened to this person. Credentials got leaked. This guy happened to get a hand on the credentials. Maybe he bought them from dark web. But yeah, that's actually what they say. They were bought from dark web. So the guy came and now did phishing to that company. And one member who actually, they say, had some admin privileges clicked. But before that happened, there's different ways hackers today can do to if they want you, they can get you. So to this guy, they used so the guy tried to use the credentials to log into that person's account, but it was not successful because there was another layer of security, multi-factor authentication. So he didn't have the codes to put. Okay? So you see why it's important when we tell people to always do multi-factor authentication. Someone can have your credentials, but if it's enabled, then they won't proceed. So this guy went forward to do something called MFA fatigue or MFA bombing. I think that's another word for it. You get a notification telling you approve. You keep canceling. So this guy, I think it was done to him for the entire 24 hours. Until one time he's like, yo, this thing is stressing me. Did approve. Wow. And by that, the guy was able to get inside. And that I'm talking about is the Uber.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it just took one single click and
I'm telling you, before you know, the guy had access to the person's device. Now in this company, I think they were using some shared resources. There was shared folder that we managed to get into. It had some scripts. Within that script was now the password. There's a password that contained administrative access to production systems.
Sounds like a horror movie, right?
I can talk this through until morning. Because when you look at it, actually, it's something that starts by just a small action.
Yeah.
And it ends up creating. So I think you know how it went. Most of the Slack server, I think, you know what happened actually that was weird at that time? So this guy hacked the Slack server, which they use for communication, and he came to post in the general Slack channel, hey folks, this company has been breached, blah, 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 blah. And people thought it was me.
Wow.
Most of their systems, they even actually had access to their vulnerability reports. They downloaded everything. And I think after downloading that report, the guy made a comment that they had hacked, hacked into their systems, and the reports have been downloaded.
Yeah, from what you've explained, it seems like it's not. It can happen to anyone. People who have that mentality, who think that it won't happen to us, it actually will happen.
And today, it's a bit tricky when you look at how AI. You were telling me about AI. You see how there's this deepfakes these days.
Yeah.
That guy from, I think, China, that wired 25 million to a wrong person, to people who didn't actually exist. Someone set up a meeting, like a CEO, with other members in actually that meeting, and nothing was true. Nothing was true. The guy joined, they said what they said, sent the amount, the guy sent the money.
Can't imagine.
Just out of... Today you've seen gorillas trying to make... The other day I saw this gorilla that was saying, with a... recording themselves like on FaceTime, that this tourist has lost their phone here. I'm trying to have a good time with it. So you've seen... I'm just talking about like the current deepfakes of videos.
Wow.
So it's going to be much weird. You're going to receive a meeting invitation, and then you join the call, and the call is truly there. But whoever is there is exactly the people you know, but they're not real people.
Wow, sounds very scary. Well, Bright, we can talk all day about this, and I'm super happy that we got time to speak about this topic. And I believe our audience has got an interesting overview of how cybersecurity should be done. And I really want to thank you for making time for this. And it was a very interesting talk to have. And I've come up with something. I've learned something new. We've talked about leadership. We've talked about frameworks. And we've talked about different stories that may relate to us directly or indirectly. So I'm very appreciative of what has happened today. And I hope our audience has had a chance to learn something new. And with that, I would like to thank anyone who's watching and who's listening. And stay tuned for the next Irembo Tech Talk. I believe the team will organize something cool.
Maybe. Again, thank you everyone who has been following. I suppose we had limited time today. We could talk until, because there's so many things maybe you feel we've not touched on, or we've touched on halfway. They can always maybe reach out on our social media platforms so that we can, if possible, in the future, we can come up with another episode.
Yeah,
of where we're addressing everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.